Welcome back to Walking with Christ. I'm Tyler Cruz, and I'm here today with Juan Barkley. Juan, tell us about yourself.
All right. My name is Juan Barkley. I'm part of Rocklin's 3rd Ward, baptized on January 28th of this year. I have 3 children, and recently got a calling to help Tyler Cruz here with the service, which has been a blessing in itself. I'm very honored and happy to be able to do everything I can with the church and keep moving forward as things progress.
So Juan, how did you come across the church?
You know, I had a lot of things happen. There was a lot of steps that led up to it. But earlier, a few years back, I had some troubles. Wasn't always living the right way. Ended up having a heart surgery at age 37. Still didn't learn my lesson there. Continued on what I was doing. Ended up getting in a bad car accident. So God sat me down. If he wasn't talking to me at first with the heart surgery, you know, if I wasn't hearing him then, he made it a point that I heard him. And he literally sat me down in a bed for 6 months while I recouped. And I had an opportunity to reflect on a lot of things during that time. And I knew I wasn't living right, and I needed to make some changes. I just didn't know what changes to make and how to make those changes, because I just didn't have the tools to do that. So in November, I had a knock on my door. It was raining outside. It was the evening time, and it was Sister Dana and Sister Shepherd. And I invited them in, left the door open, you know, just some young ladies. I didn't want them to feel trapped in, but I invited them in, and we started talking, and then they invited me to church.
What was your first thoughts, your first impressions of meeting the missionaries?
You know, they were very nice. I felt bad that they were outside in the rain. It was late. It was dark. But they were very nice, and they were very warm, and they invited me, and I told them that I would go. So as a man of my word, I went. But yeah, they seemed caring and kind and loving, and I didn't see a reason why I wouldn't do what I said I was going to do. And so that was my first introduction to the church.
Yep. I remember there were some members of Rocklin 3rd that came and were able to teach you with the missionaries, with the sisters.
Yes.
What were your impressions of them?
You know, it was so foreign to me. I had no idea what I was getting into, what I was learning, what was going to happen. But I had that open mind and that open heart, which is something that I didn't have before. So yeah, it was a lot to take on. The way that they taught it was really important, because it could be overwhelming at times. You know, especially not knowing anything about, you know, what's going on. It's like, hold up, what are you guys talking about? What's this? What's that? And I had 50 million questions. I really did, and the sisters and the members and the brothers and everybody from the church was totally okay with it, which made me feel comfortable that they weren't trying to shut it down. There were no secrets. There was nothing they were hiding. It was honesty and love, and I felt that from the start.
So when you accepted the invitation to be baptized, why was that important to you?
So initially, I was going to wait. I wanted to wait till I read the entire Book of Mormon. I'm like, you know what? I need to know everything. And I just kept hearing the same thing. You'll spend your life learning. You're not going to learn it all. We're never going to know it all. People who have been members their whole lives and raised in the church still have questions, still don't know it all. And everybody's helping each other, which I thought was great. And there was a scripture, and I don't know the scriptures that well yet, but it was one that was saying, if you're gonna live your life honoring God, why not get baptized? Why not get baptized? I was like, you know what? That's right, because I was ready for that change, and I had been actively working towards that change, working with the brothers and sisters, learning, and really accepting their invitations and doing what they asked, and doing my lessons and going to the service, and it was like, hey, why not get back? I'm already on this path, and I want to honor these covenants to God, and I want to do it not only for myself, but I want for my publicly, and so that way it's known. There's no secrets here. I'm not hiding nothing, and I want my children to see what I'm doing. I want to be that good example and move forward. And it was important, but also, like I said, just honoring those covenants with God, and then learning that He also honors His covenants with us in return was huge for me. I was like, that is beautiful. It's not just, it's give and take, and it was a really big deal for me.
Yep. Remember, you mentioned that it was important that you were able to set an example for your kids and your family.
Yeah.
And I remember your baptism. There was a lot of family there,
Yes.
a lot of friends, people you knew your whole life.
Yeah.
And what do you think it meant to them?
They're non-members, but they were there. And they have known me my whole life, and they have seen the different stages that I've gone through. And I just think they were supportive, because it was a positive change in my life. It was a positive thing. And there hasn't always been that positiveness in my life. The way I was living before was just it was not correct, and I didn't have that support from them during that time either. It was so for them to come and support me in this decision, and it was a really big deal, and I was grateful for that. And still, as non-members, they still support me in this decision and are happy for me. And when I tell them things that are going on, they're eager to hear and listen, and even come to events if invited.
So how is a relationship with Jesus Christ, your relationship with Jesus Christ, how's that strengthened your family?
I will say that the relationship that I'm building with Jesus Christ has helped bring my family together and closer. Even family members that didn't talk, that much before. God has made a way for us to mend and to come together, and being that good example for my children, who saw Dad living life one way for so long, lost and hurt, and really fighting every step of the way to keep things together, hold things together, stressed out a lot about different things that are going on in life, to Dad finding peace and Dad finding joy and happiness, and it's important to them. It's really important to my children, but it's important to all, even my father, me and him. He's Catholic, but you know what? He's really supportive of me and happy, and it's just really brought our family together. And even I invite them to certain things, and they come. They may not come to everything, but they come when I ask them to, and it's just important to be a good influence in the kids' life, to show them that there is room and opportunity to change and improvement, to have improvement in their lives.
That's wonderful. So, Juan, how has prayer influenced your life?
Prayer has influenced my life, and the big one for me is trust. I'm still, learning to pray. I say that, I just, it's still new to me. I'm still working to have this relationship with God. But it's the trust. That's really big for me. Trusting that I don't have to worry. I don't have to stress about all these. I mean, we have worries and stresses in life. That's normal, but the things that I don't need to worry about, it's not in my control. It's not in my hands. I don't need to stress and put all this effort and energy into something when I can be focusing on my children or focusing on my family, or focusing on things that need to take place or things that need to happen, and be productive and useful. And just having that, building that relationship with God, trusting God that things are going to be all right and okay. And that's been the biggest part of my prayers.
So what would you say to others who are searching for a relationship with Jesus Christ?
Trust. That's my biggest thing, is trust. You get to a point when you're not living a certain way, we're not living the right way. You get to a point to where you've spent so much time going against the grain, fighting, and trying to, unnecessary issues, this and that. Just, you get tired, and as you get older, and you get tired, and it's just, and I would say, try something new, try something different. If what you've been doing for the past 40 years or 30 years or however long it's been isn't working, and you haven't found that happiness, and you haven't found what you're looking for, what's the harm? Mm-hmm. Give it a try. It may not be for you, but you never know. It may be for you, but you're never going to know if you don't give it a try. And that's truly what I would say. You give it a try, and you learn to trust, and you learn to let those problems and those stresses, and you just give it up to God, and it's a weight off your shoulders. But you're never going to know unless you give it a try and you trust. And once you do that, at least for myself and from what I've learned from other members, is it does make life a lot more pleasant. Yeah, so life is it's meant to be enjoyed. God wants us to enjoy our lives. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel when we're living our lives, other than the way He would like us to live our lives, that we're going to find that happiness and joy that He intends us to have.
So Juan, what experiences have you had that have led you to know this church is true?
When I was learning, having the lessons, getting the invitations from the brothers and sisters to participate, and I was trying to figure it out. And nobody else is a member in my family, so I was really just, am I doing the right thing? Is this where I need to be? Is this what I need to be doing? And I prayed about it, and as I was being taught and I prayed, and I just was asking God, like, let me know I'm doing the right thing. I don't know what to do. I don't know. This is so foreign to me. This is so new. I didn't know what to think or how to feel, but I knew that by going to services and being around everybody, I felt good, but I just didn't know if this was the right thing, especially with all the opposition from the family members that I was having. And during those prayers, every time I was feeling something, my phone rang. It was a brother or a sister. Hey, Juan, how you doing? Or somebody came to my door, unannounced, knocked on the door and showed up. Hey, Juan, we just came to say hi. And every time I turned around, every time I was doing, trying to figure something out, the brothers and sisters from the church were there. Mm-hmm. And to me, that was God putting them before me, saying, hey, this is where you need to be. This is where you belong. Mm-hmm. And so that was, that's how I knew that I was at the right place. I'd found my place and where I need to be and what I need to do.
So Juan, recently you got called to serve on the service committee in your ward. How has that calling blessed you? And what are some of the types of things that you've been able to do spiritually in that calling?
I take it back to trust. It's a real big thing for me. And I didn't know how I was going to fulfill my duties. I felt a lot of pressure, not from the ward in any way. They were very loving about it. Hey, you know what? You'll do fine. But it was just on myself. So I asked. I'm comfortable to ask. And the brothers and sisters asked me, pray about it. Pray about it. So I prayed about it, and I was like, hey, help me know how to fulfill these duties. What can I do? How am I going to do this? And my prayers were answered by service opportunities that had been presented to me. It wasn't a stress. It wasn't a burden. It wasn't this calling wasn't to be a burden. It was to be a blessing that I was to enjoy, and not for me to worry and stress about. It was so beautiful, and it gave me that trust that I needed. That okay, I can do this, and the trust that God wouldn't give me more than I can handle. That God put me in this position of service because He knew that I could do it, but with His help. And I've had the opportunity to help my sister and my niece. We're going to have them do a move coming up. We do me and you. We do all sorts of other projects with the church and with the VFW. We do a lot of service projects just in the community in general. We stay pretty busy, which is good. We're definitely doing the work, and I don't. And like I said, that stress is not there, and I feel that my prayers have been answered in a way to where once again I can trust that the Lord will provide, and that we are here to do His work, and that's exactly what's happening. I have we have another tree project coming up when we get back, and we have another yard cleanup coming up when we get back, and I feel that we are definitely been blessed with the ability to fulfill our position.
I agree. So Juan, Jesus Christ, what does He mean to you? And could you leave us with your testimony of Him?
What does He mean to me? Well, for me, I see Him as, like, from what I've learned, I see it as our older sibling, someone we look up to, someone we admire, someone who gave their life for us, and also led by example, and that's huge, because we can never be that perfect, but we have that example to strive towards, to work towards. We know He told us, and He didn't just tell us, but He showed us how to do this, and that is so huge. Like I said, the older sibling who led by example and gave the ultimate sacrifice for all of us. I will say that I have spent a lot of life fighting and struggling, like I was saying, trying to find happiness in all sorts of places, and falling short and never really getting to where I wanted to be, and unnecessarily just going through issues that, it's just an uphill battle both ways, and it was just, I grew tired, and like I said, I got to a point where I had these experiences that opened my heart and opened my mind to learn something new. And when I got the knock on my door, I said this in a talk that I gave before, but it's 100% the truth. I didn't just let the sisters in my home and the brothers in my home. I let God in my home, and I let the Word in my home, and my life has been changed ever since. And I listen to the scriptures, and I go to the services, and I participate in the invitations that are given to me, and I grow and I learn, and I'm learning that this is true, and this is right, and I'm gaining that trust and the confidence that I need to be a better person in my life, and I'm learning that through the church and through my scriptures and through the brothers and sisters that help all over, members and non-members alike. The brothers and sisters are always there, and it's a beautiful church, and couldn't be happier to be here with all the brothers and sisters.
Love you. Thank
You
you.
too, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Juan, for joining us for Walking with Christ. And thank all of you for joining with us, and we'll see you next time.
Hi there, I'm Sister Sumption, and thank you for choosing to grow closer to Jesus Christ with us. We are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and our focus is to help others learn about Jesus Christ and change their lives by becoming new through the atonement of Jesus Christ. We can help you learn about Him and how His restored gospel can help you. Comment below this video or message us to learn more today.